the version for the guys. The guys had asked so many like, hey, you gave the cheat code on us, where's it for the women? And while the Mindful Muslimah Speaks podcast was never meant for guys, for some reason on YouTube especially, we're getting a lot more guys. So let me be honest. The reason we exist is we want healthier marriages. We want men and women to find each other the right way and to stay married longer. There's an epidemic in our community of divorces. Don't we know it? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the podcast. We had done a part 1, part 2 of the male cheat code. I'll put this up here, a link to the video if inshallah ta'ala you want to watch that after. So I said, you know what? If that's what it takes to help marriages happen the right way, sure do. Today's going to be the female code, 5 things that will make her want you or be attracted to you. Got to understand us women and how we think. Because just like women need to understand how men think and communicate, you need to understand how we're wired. If you want to have a strong, lasting marriage and, one where you actually feel attracted to the person and you actually get the person you want. So grab a pen because we're going to get deep on this. Let's go.
Welcome to the Mindful Muslimah Speaks podcast, a safe space to learn and grow into the best version of yourself that you're always meant to be. I'm your host, Mindful Muslimah, a mom of 5, big sister to the community, and a licensed educator with 25 plus years and supporting tens of thousands of Muslim women worldwide. Now, I'm excited to share a ton of solutions to your problems on love, relationships, life balance, reconnecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, getting back on track, and more. So grab a cup of coffee and close out those tabs. These next 20 to 30 minutes are all about you. Let's get started.
All right, guys, so let's dive into this. And if you don't already know me, my name is Mindful Muslimah. I'm a marriage expert. I've been helping women for 25 years how to get married and stay married. But today we're going to throw in for the guys on feminine female code. And ladies, you're going to learn a little something about us because inshallah ta'ala, after doing this for so long with tens of thousands of women in 100 plus countries, I'm telling you there are patterns in us. I'm gonna let the guys know a little bit of it, but inshallah ta'ala, it will also help you to be seen by the guys in our community. That way we could feel like they understand us a bit better. So code number 1, she needs to feel emotionally safe before anything else. And by the way, even though we only exclusively work with women, there are men more and more who have come to us. So this one brother, Ahmed, he came to us. He was a successful practicing engineer, but he had some marriage issues. He was already married. And he felt like his marriage was falling apart, but he couldn't understand why. And I would want to know too. He said, sis, I provide for my wife. I pray 5 times a day. I don't look at other women. I'm a good husband. What is going on? She's like a stranger. She doesn't want to talk to me. She says I'm insensitive. She says this, she says that, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I asked him, I said, let me ask you, when's the last time she came to you with an actual problem? He said, well, actually just last week, she came to me with like some issue going on with her sister. She was super stressed out. She was pretty emotional about it. So I told her, you're just overthinking it. Just call your sister and tell her XYZ. Problem solved. But instead of thanking me, she got even more upset. Like, what did I know? I didn't understand. So I said, Ahmed, let me ask you something. How do you feel when your boss dismisses your concerns at work? Like you have some issue and you talk to him about it and you just feel kind of terrible, like my opinion doesn't matter. I said, great, because that's exactly the way she feels. She feels dismissed. You're just putting her emotions as overthinking instead of trying to understand where she's at. So that's what I mean. Guys might be thinking that they're being helpful by just trying to solve the problem. Looks super simple. Looks like we're just too emotional over it. It's a really simple fix. Saying things like, that's not logical. You're overreacting. It's a simple thing. Like, why are you making a big deal out of it? And the thing is, after months and months of him talking to her like that, she no longer felt emotionally safe to share with him. So I taught Ahmed what to say instead. You ready? Instead of saying, that's not a big deal, why are you overreacting? I told him to say, that sounds really difficult. I can see why you're frustrated. Seeing her, making her feel seen and heard, getting what she's talking about. And when he did this with her, the change was immediate. She relaxed, she felt heard, and then the beautiful part was she actually asked him for advice. So what do you think I should do? Do you see? He had to set the stage for safety. Then she could let her guard down and hear his advice. But when you just come at women with advice and you dismiss the emotional aspects of it, they definitely feel dismissed and they're not going to be attracted to you. So brothers, here's the key. Before a woman can respect you, trust you, or even hear what you have to say, she has to feel emotionally safe. This is a pretty much non-negotiable. Code number 2, women communicate to connect, not just exchange information. So let me tell you about Yusuf and Amina. So they were married for 3 years and Yusuf was just getting more and more frustrated. Every day, Amina would come home and she wanted to tell him about her day, every detail. And Sometimes she's even texting every detail. You know, guys, like those long texts from girls with every detail. The difficult student, the meeting with the parent, what her boss was doing. And Yusuf would listen for a few minutes, but then his mind would tune out because it was like way too much information. And he's just thinking in his mind, why does she have to tell me every single thing? Like everything. Why can't we just summarize in a sentence? It's just information. I mean, I can't help her anyway. So one day, Amina, she came home particularly upset. A parent had yelled at her or something with a child in their grades. And she was telling Yusuf about it, and he could see she was really bothered. But you know, his engineering brain, like so many of these guys, they're really smart and problem fixing. That's what they're there for, right? It just kicked in. He was like, simple. Just send an email to the principal documenting what happened. Cover yourself professionally, problem solved. But instead of feeling better, you know what happened? Amina was more hurt. She was just, now I'm upset with the school and my husband. You don't get it. You don't get it at all, is what she said. So that's when Yusuf realized he was doing something wrong. And then he kind of just found his wife always going to her sister for comfort instead of him. And he was okay with that because he didn't have to hear every detail. But after a while, he got a little offended. So the next time she came home with a problem, instead of saying the solution and just telling her it wasn't a big deal, instead what he said to her was, you know what? That parent seemed completely out of line. You work way too hard to be treated like that. That was him seeing her frustration and basically just repeating it back to her. Like she was expressing frustration. He's like, that must be frustrating. And she was like, I deserve better. He was like, you know, you deserve better. So my point is, if you can't get up with words, you can kind of mirror what they're saying. People oftentimes, especially women in these types of situations, they just want to vent and feel heard. They're not really looking for a solution. Code number 3, she needs to feel chosen and pursued, not just accepted. So I have the story of Khalid and Zara. And unfortunately, this breaks my heart because it's so common. So Khalid was a good man. He worked hard, he provided well, he prayed diligently. But like after 5 years of marriage, he couldn't understand why Zahra was so distant. She just seemed flat. Like she wasn't angry, she wasn't upset, she wasn't into him. She was just like meh. And it felt off, it felt awkward. Like she was just uninterested in him. He's like, she used to light up when I came home. She used to get excited about our plans, about our conversations. Now it's just like, we live together, but there's nothing there. So I asked him, when's the last time you did something specifically to make her feel special? There was a long pause. He was like, I mean, I bring her flowers sometimes on special occasions. And I was like, when's the last time you asked her about her dreams or what she's working on or like what's really important to her? Not just like household stuff or logistics. The silence told me everything. You see, Khalid had fallen into a trap that so many men do. He thought like, hey, once we're married, the pursuit can stop. But that's not how it works. That's not what keeps women lit up. And I say this to single and married people. You have to understand that there's this cat and mouse game that has to exist on some level to keep the drive and the run going. The woman has to feel pursued and loved and chased continuously. And the guys are like, exhausting. Guys, all it takes is a little something. So let me tell you the key. The minimal effort you can do to keep that attraction from your wife. And then also, if you're trying to pursue a sister and you want her to understand that you're interested without kind of like putting it all out there and seeming desperate, you could do it a little bit like this. If you're going to do a meetup, because women often look at how men arrange meetups and interviews, right? Do something special. Don't just do the basic. Also, don't expect her to arrange the whole thing. So many times women are like, he was late, he didn't even show up. I said, what are you going to do? He's like, why don't you plan it? See, like women want to feel like you're actually thinking and trying and doing something, whether they're single and you're deciding to get married or whether you're married and you want to stay married because you want to keep the spark. So after I talked to him, what he did that weekend, which he hadn't done in years, was he planned a surprise. He arranged for someone to watch their daughter and found this like art exhibition, something that she was interested in or he knew she'd be interested in. And he didn't take her out just for dinner or just for a movie. Like anyone can do that. He got a little outside the box, right? He said, let's go to this art exhibition, then we could walk on the beach, maybe we can catch an ice cream or a tea. Like he tried to go a different route that was unexpected. Something that showed he was paying attention to her interests and then actually implemented them in a plan. That was golden. And he talked to me the next time with an update and said, she said it was like, I saw a side of him I hadn't seen in years. It was like the old Khalid was back. So sorry guys, the pursuit never ends. If you want to keep her heart, you have to spice it up and chase her, but not in a cat and mouse forever, never gonna end game. Like, because you love her, right? Because once you're married, you love her and you want to show her that by showing you're paying attention. And ladies, not to get you off the hook, you should be doing a little something for that with him too, but that is definitely that code. Code number 4, let me tell you about 2 brothers. So there was Tariq and Hassan, both married within the same year, both practicing Muslims who believed Muslim men should do what they, do, qawam, role as a leader and everything. But their marriages, ironically, even though they had the same mindset, they got married in the same year, they went completely different ways. Let me tell you what went wrong and what went right. Tariq believed in leadership in a way that was a bit more controlling, because code number 4 is she responds to leadership, not control. Not the same thing. Be really careful. Ladies, if you know what I'm talking about, put something in the comments below, because there's a difference. There is. So Tariq, who believes in control, his wife Nadia wanted to take a part-time job. He said no without even discussing it. When they needed to choose the school, he made the decision, didn't even really inform her. When she was concerned about something with the house budget, he was like, don't worry about it. It's a guy thing. You don't have to worry about that. And he just kind of like either directly or indirectly kept emphasizing like, I'm the head of the household. I'm the head of the household. Allah made me the leader. She needs to just follow. Now, here's where you're going to see the differences, because Nadia did not take that well. That was not attractive. And she started to push away from him. And then she would get agitated and she would have an attitude like where it initially wasn't the thing. Meanwhile, Hassan, his brother, had a totally different understanding of leadership. And it made the difference in his marriage. So when his wife Layla wanted to pursue a certification course, he sat down with her and he said, tell me about the program. How do you think it's going to work? How are you going to make time to do it and still keep up, your part of things in the house? And like, what are your goals with this? Like, where are you trying to go with this program? So he sat down to understand her, right? And just have that conversation before he made like rash decisions. So they discussed the logistics together. At first he wasn't too into it, but after she kind of explained how some of it was going to work and he realized it wasn't going to like upset anything in the house, and they did have some of the money to do it, and he knew it was a dream of hers, he was fine. I mean, like when he made the final decision, he just gathered all the information together, made a final call, but like Layla overall felt heard, and she knew there was a chance it wasn't going to work out and they weren't going to be able to do it. But there was still that conversation, and leadership was more about hearing, understanding, engaging, and then deciding. Not just like, I'm the man, that's my job, because that is not attractive, guys. I'm sorry. That's not the Qawwam. That's not the way the Prophet did it. Prophet, peace be upon him, he didn't go like toting his title. He was never like that. He had way better emotional intelligence, which is what I'm telling you right now, an example of how to do. So unfortunately, with those 2 brothers, Tariq and his wife, after 2 years of marriage, became resentful and distant from one another. And from the last time I heard, they were on verge of divorce. Hassan and Layla, on the other hand, Layla said, I love my husband. He leads the family, yada, yada. And by the way, I want to pause here because I know there's some women going, how do I get a guy like that one? How do I get a Hassan? And by the way, this is something I teach. I've done dabbles of it in YouTube, but I do it inside the coaching program. But I want you to understand, as men, I'm teaching you to understand how to do this, to make women feel you're the leader, not the controller. And it's way more attractive because this is all about how do you attract women in the right way. What I want the women to understand is you have your own role in attracting the leader versus the controller. A lot of women they're attracting the controller, unfortunately. And then they're stuck in this marriage where they feel like it's an angry monster and he's just forcing his qawam down their throat. And that's actually not the way Islam ever intended it. But unfortunately, we're confused about the difference between a leader and someone who has to have control. So guys, good news is she wants you to lead. She wants to follow your leadership, but only if she knows you're leading with love and compassion, not with ego. Code number 5. So she needs emotional consistency and reliability. This is an important one. So here's the story of Omar. And this one unfortunately shows how much emotional unpredictability can ruin a marriage. So Omar was this successful business guy. He was generous with charity, good with the kids, and his wife had become distant and he didn't know why. And he was like, she walks on eggshells around me. She's always nervous, like she's afraid to say something to me. But I'm not scary. I don't yell or anything. And so I just happened to know Fatima from something because like in my program, I don't, like I said, I usually deal with women, but she wanted me to talk to him. So I knew her from the program, and then she said, can you just do a 1 session with him just to find out what's going on because I can't do this anymore. And I said, sure. So whatever, they scheduled that. So I go back to Fatima and I didn't tell her what he said because that's confidential, but I asked her separately, kind of like, what's going on? Just give me more context. And she said, well, I never know which Omar I'm going to get. Like, if work went well, he's loving and caring. If it didn't, he's irritated and short with everyone. Like, he's not yelling, but he's very, very irritated. If he's stressed about money, he might snap over something very easily. And if his family calls with drama, woo, like, he is moody for days. So the problem wasn't that Omar had emotions. Like, his wife was okay with that. The problem was that his emotions in the moment controlled the relationship with his wife and how the whole day was going to go. Stressed about the finances, irritable with everyone. So I went back to Omar and I said, let's work on emotional consistency. I think you're going to see a huge difference in your marriage. Not suppressing your feelings, but like not letting it dictate the way the family feels like they get treated, and you still get to have your feelings. Can we work on that? So he's like, yeah. So what he learned to do instead was to communicate his feelings in a way that would allow people to give him space to feel them, and then he didn't have to take it out on them. So if he walked in the door and he like had a bad day, he learned to say instead, hey, salam alaikum, whatever, hey, just listen, had a bad day, probably gonna need to go decompress for 20 minutes, like on the couch or in the shower, or go do a workout on my phone. Just be by myself a minute because I just need to like decompress. And his wife's like, yeah, no, thanks for letting me know. Like, go take time for yourself. That gave space for him not to just pretend like nothing had happened at work, come home as normal, and then explode. Do you get what I'm saying? And even when he was like worried about finances, with guys often are, I mean, this economy is crazy, right? And they have to take care of everything. He learned to say, look, just to let you know, I'm a little stressed out about the finances right now. So if I seem a little off, that's why. I'm just figuring some things out, but I'll be good in a little bit. Just give me some space if that's okay. And then she's like, yeah, absolutely. See, so like, it was fine. She just needed him to say that, and then she would go give that space and walk away. Because often what guys want is space. They don't want women to fix it. They don't want to solve their problems. They just want to like leave them alone so they could do it. But then also when she did see him really upset, she was softer and compassionate with him. And then she was like, you know what? You've had this problem before and you fixed it. I know you can fix it again. You're going to be okay. Kiss on the head, right? Like that. That's the thing I told you before, ladies. Be his cheerleader and his motivator, not his mother. I said that in other podcasts. So that's that little hint. And that's the way Khadija radiallahu anha did with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? He came down from the mountain of Hira, cover me, right? Dove in, and she's like, Allah did this for you. Don't you remember? This. You're good. You'll figure it out. You know, encouragement. And that's what we need to embody women. But guys, absolutely, that emotional inconsistency, that's why she's not giving you the response you need. So guys, let's talk about why this all matters. These stories are not just about individual couples. If you haven't noticed, they're understanding the beautiful way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created women so you can get what you need from them, and she could love you, appreciate you, and pursue you in the ways that you need her to. Ladies, I hope you learned a little something about typical relationship issues, and if you've had any of these, you are not alone. And when you understand how women are wired, you can love them the way they need to be loved once you're married in a halal marriage. Don't take it any other way. And when she feels that love, she will naturally give you what you need: respect, appreciation, and that beautiful feminine energy. So here's what I'd like y'all to do after listening to this episode. First, if you're married, pick just one of the areas I talked about to focus on. Don't try to change everything at once. Just try to do one thing. Secondly, if this resonated with you as a single female, we have a program we work together to fast track you finding guys that will understand you and be more emotionally available and growth mindset in a fraction of the time. I am so sad to see women looking for men for 3 to 5 years, 6 to 7 years. It does not take that long. And many of these women are absolutely beautiful. They're successful. Guys are like, where can I get their number? I don't matchmake. Like I've said in other podcasts, matchmaking, not as useful at all as understanding how to have the power to find the guy yourself. And that is very easy to do in a matter of weeks. So if you're interested in that, links below for a free call to see if we can work together. And remember, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said the best of you are the best of their wives. But that kind of requires you to understand your wife, your future wife, guys, if you're not yet married, or your wife if you are. Thanks for showing up for the podcast. I'll talk to you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العليا